Yeah, karibuni sana to yet another amazing episode of the Cinema and Theatre Break Show. Kama kawaida, I'm your host, Eric Mdagaya, the super director. And today we have an amazing show lined up for you guys. Nona set kwenye tuko, very creative, very artistic. Tuko at the Kenya National Theatre.
My name is Caroline Odongo, and I am a practitioner in the entertainment industry, specifically theatre, TV and film, and I am a director for all three. I have been in the industry for very many years. My first directing was for theatre, and then from there I moved on to TV and film. Yes.
So let's get straight to the interview. First of all, let us understand when did you start?
Wow.
Yeah.
I started in the 90s.
Wow.
Okay, in the early 90s, straight after campus. That's where I started, and I started as an actress.
Wow.
Yeah, so I acted for quite a number of years before now getting to be a director. Yeah, and even in terms of acting, I started as a chorus girl in a musical. So I was just in a big crowd of young girls who were singing in the chorus in a musical, and then from there I grew and I started now acting. I started getting small roles in straight plays, and then from there I moved into doing a lot of stage management, and then I moved into directing. And even for directing, I started directing on stage first, and then I moved into TV and film.
Wow, that is quite a process there, and so many people don't understand that process. But probably, maybe you can highlight it to us. Maybe someone is asking, she says she's a director, she's an actor. Does it mean when you become a very good actor, you become a director? Or what does it mean? Why do people move from being an actor to a director, maybe a producer?
It's not that you progress from an actor into a director and then into a producer. No, for me that was my journey. But you know, everybody has their journey, and I think if you're a good actor and maybe your strength is in acting, I think you should stay in acting. I mean, now we say that it is nice for artists, because I've heard this said that it's good for actors not to just be actors, so have many more things that you're able to do. So actors are learning to write, they're learning to edit, they're learning to direct, they're learning to produce, which is fine, but it's not a progression that must happen, that if you're an actor, then you must become a producer or a director or that or whatever. No, it doesn't. But the only thing I can say is definitely, like for me, being a director after having been an actor for long is a plus. Because when I am talking to actors, I am talking from a point of knowledge. I have been there, I've done it. I know what actors go through. I know how difficult it is to learn lines, to remember them. I know how terrifying it is to stand in front of an audience and then you're shaking and sweating, and yeah, so it is helpful for a director to come from an acting background. Yeah.
So maybe Carol can tell us, so you are a director. Mm-hmm. So did you go to school, or is it a natural gift that you do have?
No, I didn't go to school. Yeah, I didn't go to any school as either as an actor or a director. My learning has been on the job, by doing, and that for me is the best way to learn. It's good to go to school, and I wish we had more schools here in Kenya, because that's one thing we lack. We don't have schools for directors. We've got very few schools for actors, which are only coming up now. But for me, when I was coming up as an actor, there were no schools. Okay, so I come from a passion. Yeah, I have a passion for acting. I watched a play, I loved it. I said, oh my God, they're looking so nice. This, oh, I can do this. And then I tried it and I enjoyed it. And that's how I got into it.
Wow.
So yeah, I didn't go to anybody's school.
But you're here, you're doing
Yes,
it. Yeah.
yes.
Wow, that is pretty amazing. Now let's talk about a little bit about your journey. You said that you got interested to join the industry when you when you saw a play? When you saw a play?
Yes.
Probably you can shed some light about that and maybe talk about it in depth, just a little bit about it. Let's talk about it.
When I was in campus, a friend of mine invited me to watch a play. She was already in the cast.
Okay.
And the play was called Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. It was being performed at the Phoenix Players. And actually one of the main actors was Judge Ian. Yes, okay, so I went and watched the play. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. The costumes, the singing, the dancing, the lights, and the audiences were so huge, and I had never seen this before. The plays I had watched, yes, I had watched plays at the National Theatre as a student in campus and even in high school. And yes, they were spectacular, but I had never watched a musical. So this now for me, this was stuff I used to see on TV only. But now I'm seeing young Kenyan girls, and boys dancing and singing and looking so wonderful. And that caught me because I never thought we were capable of doing that. So I guess for me, seeing my, people like me doing this, that's what really drew me into it. And I said, I would want to be one of them. So my friend told me, oh really, are you interested? She said, yeah. And then the next year I went for auditions and I got a part. Yeah, and that's how my journey started.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've mentioned something interesting about the musicals, and it's something that is not yet embraced very much here in Kenya, per se, and people haven't tried out this market of musical, and when we get to have them, it's maybe a foreign story being brought and it's done by Kenyans probably, but our own stories being made musical. It seems to be a challenge. Maybe you can share your sentiments about that.
It has been done. Yes. Kenyan stories have been made into musicals. Yeah. And it's just that a lot of the times, again, one of the shortcomings of our industry is we don't document. The documentation in our industry is very little or none at all. But when I was starting out in the theatre, there were a lot of theatre troupes, from the free traveling theatre. There were a lot of theatre troupes that came from the universities. The University of Nairobi had one, Kenyatta University had another one, and there were other small theatre troupes. And all these theatre troupes were not doing Western plays, they were doing African plays. And amongst them, there were people who were writing original scripts. And there were musicals as well.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just that the younger generation are not privy to this. They don't know. They probably think that the first musical they watched is Eric Wainaina's Tinga Tinga. Yeah, but there's a lot of musicals that have been done in the past.
Yeah. Where do you think we are as an industry? And being there, your experience that you've had, probably you can share with us, for maybe the viewers at home, to understand how the industry works, especially for you, and being a lady actually as well in the industry. How is it for you?
It's a challenging industry because the growth has been slow, but there has been growth. Because definitely from when I was a chorus girl at the Phoenix Players in the 90s to where we are at now, there's a big development. I have seen a very huge growth. There are more people involved in the industry, young people are involved in the industry. There are people who are making a living out of the industry. When we started, we were told that you'll never make a living out of this, You'll never be able to, you'll do this just as for the time being, but you need to look for an office job. But now I see people are doing it, and people are, they're employed. People are getting salaries. They're actually paying their rent and paying school fees and raising families from this industry. And so there's great hope. Yeah, but again, what we need is a little bit more recognition from the government. Yeah, because that's what we lack. We lack policies. Yeah, and we lack the support that we require from the government. If we were to get that, I think our growth would be much faster.
So that is Carol Odongo for you, one of amazing directors tuko nao hapa Kenya, and she's a mother manze, mesikia vitu anashare na sisi. So don't touch that dial. We are going for a short commercial break, then we're gonna be back. Yeah.